Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com. This is Texas Podcast Massacre.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me as always are my Talamascan co-hosts, Lisa.
I'm an Episcopalian.
Jeez, well, good for you. Mazel tov. And Nate.
Well, that makes you a very clever librarian. Shout out to the librarians in the audience. We got your back.
Apparently. Does that imply that librarians are not very clever?
No, they're clever, man. They're underrated.
I feel like there's some librarian hate in that line.
Underrated.
Well, we'll dive a little more deeply into that book. Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror film and debate a horror-related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who's usually not someone you would consider a horror fan. So unfortunately, we had two other unsuspecting victims, but
they went to ACL to see a new metal band.
Yeah, got backstage passes, and I have not heard back from them. Very rude, if I have to say. So we're just gonna get the OG band back together for one night only to talk Queen of the Damned in this very special crossover episode. So in order to take down Akasha and Jonathan Davis, aka J Devil, really the two biggest threats to the new metal world, we've partnered up with Tim and Garrett from Why I Hate This Album podcast to give you not one, but two neck-ripping episodes you can really sink your teeth into. I feel dirty for that pun. It will not be the last.
No.
So for those of you who do not know, Why I Hate This Album podcast reviews a different album each week, where the hosts Tim and Garrett get each other there to hating the specific album. That is a direct quote. Don't know what that means, but
they get there a lot. Every week they get there.
It's a lot of getting themselves there. They've reviewed Korn, Lady Gaga, Eminem, Britney Spears, Garth Brooks, several more. And tomorrow they're going to be releasing their episode on the soundtrack to this album, which I embarrassing story. I had to buy this album twice because I burned through it the first time listening to it a lot.
What do you mean? Wait, hold on. Burned through it?
Like I just
was it a CD?
Yeah, but I just kept listening to it like a whole bunch. I actually listened to CDs.
It was like
because I was in my audio snob days.
It's like when you used to like get a VHS tape that you played too much and it broke. You did that with a CD.
Yes. Well, I also had a portable CD player that didn't have anti-skip.
Dang. So
I was playing with fire.
I got real scratched.
I was playing with fire and I got burned. So I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my heart's gonna break a little bit tomorrow, but that's fine.
Man.
So go like them, subscribe to them at all of their socials, at Album Hate Pod on Twitter, at Hate Pod on Instagram, and of course you can find them on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, you can also find us at Apple Podcast. Segue. Nice job, Mitch. You can find us at our website, Texas Podcast Massacre. This is going to be a good one. I am busting at the seams to talk about this movie. So this is going to be a lot of takes on this one. You can check us out on Twitter at TXPod Massacre. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your platforms. And email us at texaspodcastmassacre@gmail.com. for movies we should do, things we were wrong about. People have been doing both, and we really appreciate all the emails.
We're apparently wrong about a lot of things.
You know what? It's all right.
In future episodes, I think we will read some of our favorite comments, lines. So any of the reviews you put out, I think we're going to start trying to incorporate that into the show. So keep them coming our way. We appreciate everyone who's already done so. With that said, are y'all ready to get into this masterpiece of a...
Wait, I thought you said you were doing Queen of the Damned, not another movie.
Oh, no, it's Queen of the Damned.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Sorry to.
I got really excited for like 1 second.
I know I confused you. You thought I was going to switch it up on you. Nope. With that said, I got a debate question for both of y'all.
Yeah, we will see how the Lord favors you.
No, you dare not blaspheme. He will punish you. The dog of hell will devour you. All of you. No.
So look, I spent a lot of time wondering why Lestat would wait 200 years to finally start a band. Because at the very beginning of this movie, he sort of says, it was a new world, and it's music.
A new world, and you. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yikes!
So, I kind of wondered. I feel like he wouldn't have been out of place like during the Bowie era, right? Like he would have. I think he would have fit in fine, but if he sounds like Jonathan Davis, and in this world, in this movie, his voice is Jonathan Davis. He had to wait for new metal to really have a.
It wouldn't be appreciated. That's the word I'm going to use. Enough.
You're right. So let me ask you this: if you were Lestat, you're waiting to join a band, what like rock star voice are you hoping you're going to have that would be better? That would have made you even a bigger star than Lestat is.
Yeah.
Like who else besides Jonathan Davis would you want to sound like? Nate, I'll let you go first.
I mean, there's one that's just super easy. Let me see if I can do it. Like, I'm a vampire. That's Fred Durst.
Somehow that's better.
All right.
That was my version of
starfish.
Chocolate starfish.
So
no.
You gotta do Fred Durst.
Tribute band is Nate's plan B.
Once again,
yeah.
I said better. I don't need. At least Jonathan
that was
Davis
my
is
worst
trying
one.
to
That's
sing.
my worst one.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, okay.
That's worse. I'm sorry. I'm going down.
Yeah, you're just so excited to.
I'm so
jump
excited
out with that
to do my Fred Durst.
Okay. Well, all right, so what's your best? Who is your best then? So. Yeah. The other side of that question is, what would be worse than John Davis? I think sometimes he gets a little bit more shit on this than he should.
Yeah. So I think that, so in this movie, he's new metal-y. Mm-hmm. He's all like flowing around on stage, a lot of eye makeup, a lot of see-through shirts.
Yeah.
I just pictured that kind of like a Jim Morrison. Let's have it be Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Jim Morrison. Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. He would have sounded, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say better singing wise. And it still would have been an interesting, distinctive voice that you could have like used in part of the movie. Okay. The Lizard King.
Okay.
He can do anything.
So you're not a Jonathan Davis fan? Is that what you're saying?
I used to be. It's one of my secret shames. I used to be.
Don't ever. You're too cool for school.
Used to be a corn fan.
Why is that a shame?
Because it is embarrassing now. Okay, which is more embarrassing? Limp Bizkit's more embarrassing than Korn. Can we just get that out in the open here?
I do want.
That's more embarrassing.
But here's the thing: people say that, right? It's sort of the same. Limp Bizkit is sort of the same area as I would say Nickelback in terms of people hating on them in public. But when they still sell out shows inexplicably. People are somehow still going to see them.
Mitch and I went 4 years ago now.
Yeah,
they were fantastic.
Well, and everyone there too. The entire night, everyone's like, "I'm going to leave as soon as Limp Bizkit gets on stage." The minute they came out, that place
Bizkit's in the house, y'all.
That place lost its mind. They hit break stuff early. They did. I mean, people were losing their shit
because people forget how much Limp Bizkit is buried in your mind.
Oh yeah, like a parasitic infection that just won't ever leave. It's like a tapeworm in your brain.
Yeah, like there's so many people who like still can't take off their red Yankees hats. Yeah. It's embedded on you at that point. But yeah, I say my negative is Fred Durst, and then good one's Jim Morrison.
Okay. Yeah, I think my this will be a controversial. My negative. I'll go my positive. My first one was
Celine
going
Dion.
to be
Come on.
Oh, that's Celine Dion's not bad. Not a bad choice. My first one is, of course, the greatest front man ever. Diamond David Lee Roth would be incredible. I mean, if you're a vampire and you're going to be flaunting it anyway, you need the most over the top personality. There's no one more.
Go ahead and jump 100 feet in the air.
Yeah, just making random noises, man. Yes.
Except blood instead of cocaine. Is that?
It's both. I couldn't be like he's just only
blood and cocaine.
He is drinking blood from cocaine addicts.
Yeah. Got it made. I bit the teacher.
Yeah.
It's a classic line.
And I promise unsuspecting victim Bill I wanted to chime in real quick. He said his would have been Axl Rose. So we're kind of in the same.
Hold on. which Axl Rose? Like 2018 Axl Rose?
Oh, I asked him this. I asked him,
1987
is it fat Axl or regular Axl? Like drug abuse Axl. Yeah, and he said I've seen them both, and they're the same. They're one and the same.
No, they're not.
He's yeah.
No, they're not.
He just, but it'd be welcome to the jungle. Be like, you neck. You know, like be great.
I'm gonna watch you bleed.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch you bleed.
Oh my god, that's good.
Gosh.
Oh, we should have done a parody song for that one. Yeah, now my worst one, this will be controversial. Louis Armstrong.
What?
I just feel like there's not a whole lot you could do with this genre with that
I
voice.
see blood is red everywhere.
Veins of blood. I see you bleeding too.
Can only go out at night. Come on, that's amazing.
I don't know. I don't feel like that would work. And
I would have liked this movie way better. Way better.
Well, yeah. I said it was going to be a controversial pick. Lisa, what about you? What is your top?
So I think I actually really do like his vocals on this. So I don't know that this one's better.
Like Jonathan Davis' original vocals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like him. I don't know if this is better, and I don't know if he's already on the album. You'll have to tell me because you know who made it on the album. Mm-hmm. But Chris Cornell.
No,
he's not.
Yeah.
Right. Chris Cornell's a good answer. That's a good answer.
He would have done a fantastic job.
And similar time frame, so it could have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's, to me, always had a great voice. He really could have pulled off the whole rock star persona.
Yeah, I mean, let's not character. Yeah, I mean, I think where I was going, he's a little more of that glam rock, 80s rock, but Cornell is a solid. I mean, in terms of all around vocalist and
that would have been real good.
Yeah. He wasn't on the album. Closest was probably Chester Bennington from Linkin Park.
Rest in peace, both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a way to bring this down.
Soundgarden in the sky.
What a downer.
Wow, jeez. Did you say Soundgarden? Jesus. What about your worst? Or who would be worse? Which I guess it's a high bar.
You already said you like Limp Bizkit, so I do like
Limp Bizkit.
Waiting with anticipation for what's worse than that. Because that was my worst. Where is this going to go?
Oh, just wait. I feel slightly blasphemous for saying this.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited now.
Because I love them. But I think you throw a boy band in there.
Oh, I do. Oh, I should have nailed it.
I think you go Backstreet Boys. Okay. Because they already had the Monster music video. So they already got that. Okay.
So wait, is it the one that it was the vampire and everybody? Is that would you just go the same one?
But who was that? Was that Howie?
I don't know.
So is it like
I'm pretty sure it was Howie.
Back. All right.
Yes, pretty much.
That would totally.
So what they would just change it to where when he wakes up, he just, you know how he finds the band, he just finds this boy band and joins them.
Oh man, Akasha's back again.
See?
Jesus.
It is simultaneously the best and the worst at the same time.
She's the original. She's the only one of the vampires. Her outfit, very sexual.
Would the song have been "I'll never eat your heart"? I'll never make you cry.
No, quit grabbing my heart. God,
I take it back. It's the best. Let's do it.
Wow.
Well, those are our picks. Like them or love them. If let us know who you would pick. Again, you can comment on our page for this episode at TexasPodcastMassacre.com. You can let us know on Twitter, email us TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com or at TXPodMassacre at Twitter. Again, we're not going to get too much into the actual album.
We're talking about it though.
We're talking about it.
I got to mention Orgy at least once.
In the context of this movie, we'll be talking about it, but I highly recommend you go check out Why I Hate This Album.
Yeah,
podcast.
They are going to go track by track.
Oh, in depth,
really get into
real
it.
good. It's going to make my heart sad, but it's going to be awesome.
It's not a foregone conclusion that they hate it.
Oh, it is.
Lisa, the show is called Why I Hate This.
But I feel like sometimes they're on the fence.
It's not why I'm pretty cool with this album.
The worst thing is the bait and switch up front. You got Aaliyah on the cover, and then there's no Aaliyah.
That's what I was telling Mitch. I said, how did you bring this star power in here and not
You know
use
why?
her?
Because if the cover was Jonathan Davis's face, no one would have seen it.
wait, the cover is Jonathan Davis up front with Stuart Townsend still like in the same like group behind him, like
with the same outfit.
Oh, that's an image I'm gonna have to drink away later. Thanks, Nate. All right. With that said, we're gonna get into this week's movie of the week, Queen of the Damned.
It's a fear that turns to horror. The irresistible vampire Lestat, a presence so powerful it has awakened an ancient evil. Akasha, Queen of the Damned.
She takes pleasure in only one thing: destroying life, human and immortal alike. Let her come.
Come out, wherever you are. I've come to give you the world.
We are the powerful. We should walk fearless in the open.
Lestat has joined with Akasha. He's lost to us now.
Step aside. Never.
Join me or die.
All she wants is hell on earth.
We must fight Akasha.
Queen of the Damned.
Come out, wherever you are.
Yeah. So again, this is a for those that are listening for the first time. This is a spoiler-filled podcast. That whole trailer basically explains the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
And maybe half
Like
is
the last 20 minutes.
generous. It might only be like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was
I was like, that was not the movie.
not holding anything back.
Oh man. Yeah. So Nate, I'm gonna jump in. We might switch roles a little bit here.
Oh,
but
shit. Okay.
Start with some of your facts. But I've got some.
Yeah, I mean this movie is bringing out deep opinions with a lot of people. So I'll do the basics and you guys can jump in.
Well, hold on. Before you get to your stats, as is customary.
My list stats?
Your list stats. Jeez. Well done.
That was good.
Okay, so Lisa, as our unsuspecting victim, as the person who really hates horror movies and is begrudgingly having to watch them with us, how would you describe this particular movie to someone?
Yeah. So some movie execs saw how much Interview with a Vampire made and said, let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So they squashed two of Anne Rice's books together. And made this very rushed movie.
I feel like one of them had a teenager. One of those executives had teenagers like, hey, this MTV TRL new metal stuff's really in right now.
Right?
Yeah. Korn, like TRL is really big and it's all new metal stuff. So let's do that.
My daughter was telling me about this music video where like all you do is follow a bullet. Like and Anne Rice's the time is running out when we still have the licensing for Anne Rice's stuff. So let's put those
and
together.
Aaliyah's still on contract. Go.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. Okay, so Nate, what else you wanted to? What are some cool, interesting facts about this?
This movie came out in 2002. It is 101 minutes. Seemed longer. It is a 5.3 on IMDb, a 30 on Metacritic, and lower on Rotten Tomatoes. It is not well received. The tagline is "The mother of all vampires."
Terrible.
Doesn't really make any sense with the movie in any way.
No.
The director is Michael Reimer. He is born in Australia, and they filmed this mostly in Australia.
Yeah.
He directed some movies I had never heard of, and I'm not going to list 9 episodes of Hannibal and 22 episodes of Battlestar Galactica.
Were they the good episodes of Hannibal?
It's probably the end of Battlestar Galactica when it got worse.
Okay.
And then
I was about to say for Hannibal, I don't recall there being any new metal bands running around, so it's hard to tell where his influence was.
Hannibal's too classy for new metal.
Right. Well, I honestly, of all those things, Hannibal was not this. He stands out as this is not something that belongs here.
He'd probably prefer Lestat's violin playing, really.
Yeah, that's true. I would have been okay with him just being a violinist. Like, what if Lestat is Yo-Yo Ma? And going around doing that.
You're getting ahead into your sequel now.
God,
like,
so good.
Yeah.
The main person building this is Aaliyah, who doesn't show up until 50 minutes into the freaking movie. You might remember her from the Jet Li classic Romeo Must Die, which I had the DVD of for sure. And lots of music videos. I used to watch on MTV, and she died shortly after filming. Her brother came in to do her ADR, and they used the magic of movies to make his voice sound more feminine. And there's ADR of her brother in the movie.
Wait, what? What's ADR?
Additional dialogue recording. So
that's her brother?
Yeah. In the scenes where, because they record things like when you're facing away or when the camera cuts. Yeah, they got her brother.
Was it her brother in the bloodbath?
No, it was a body double. Just the voice.
Well, I mean, inquiring minds want to know, Nate.
So Stuart Townsend is Lestat. He was originally cast as Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
And then they saw him, they're like, that's too young. Let's get a real actor in. And so that's when Viggo came in. He was originally cast as Aragorn. That's insane.
That's
His career went a different way. He went into League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the series 13, which is a great video game and a terrible TV show.
Yep.
Aeon Flux, and a recurring role on Robot Chicken as Ron Weasley.
Oh my gosh.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. And then the last actress I want to talk about is Jessie, Marguerite Moreau. She's from Wet Hot American Summer, the movie and the TV shows, which I highly recommend. D2 Mighty Ducks. And of course, she played the character Reed for a very small arc on the OC. So OC reference.
Bringing it back home.
OC reference in the books.
The show is very fast becoming 6 degrees of OC or Gilmore Girls separation.
It's the CW up in here.
Well, Fox.
So let me
was Fox. How dare?
Oh, was Fox?
How dare you?
Oh, no, I never watched it.
I'm just kidding.
Weirdo.
Let me ask y'all this. So there were other names tied to the Lestat role at one point besides Stuart Townsend got it.
Mitch, no.
What do you mean no?
This is such an established actor.
I know, right? So let me ask you, what would you have thought of these? Okay, so there's Wes Bentley.
Who?
Yeah, okay. There you go.
No,
Josh Hartnett, unsuspecting victim Derek would have bought out a theater for himself to watch that one.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see that 100%.
Heath Ledger.
Oh,
and this would have been what, right after Knight's Tale? Roughly?
Yeah. Well, soon after. Yeah.
Yeah, soon after. Yeah.
After 10 Things I Hate About You, actually. I'm pretty sure.
Lisa dropping in that Heath Ledger filmography knowledge. Okay, or my personal favorite, Tom Cruise reprising his role as Lestat.
They had early negotiations and he dropped out.
Could you imagine Tom Cruise singing and Jonathan Davis' voice coming out of that?
Oh no,
that would have been great.
No. And just on the caveat, real quick. So Tom Cruise, you may in the previous one. So there's a lot of history around Anne Rice, and so I remember reading these novels back in like middle school because I was a weird kid.
Louisiana icon, Anne Rice.
Hey, well, you got to support the fellow Louisianians.
Exactly.
So she was actually totally against Tom Cruise as Lestat, and only really like signed off on it once she saw the movie and was like, "Oh no, he's good."
How much does this movie make? He was great.
Yeah, right.
My books are selling a lot.
Although she did say that Stuart Townsend actually better represented how Lestat's written,
and that's why Anne Rice writes books and doesn't do movies.
Fair, yeah. But I don't know. Tom Cruise is always a weird choice as Lestat to begin with.
It worked in Interview with the Vampire.
He's
just a good actor. It's like, I crush everything.
Yeah, it's such a steep fall from Interview with the Vampire to this.
Yeah, we've done a lot of sequels, but the first movie is never as good as Interview with the Vampire, right?
Right.
Like the sequels that Leprechaun. We did Leprechaun 4 in space. Highly recommend going back and listening to that one. Especially on St. Patty's Day.
I like that's where we're going. We're starting with the sequels we've looked. Yeah. Not like the Saws. Leprechaun in
Leprechaun
space.
4. But Leprechaun was never that good to start with. So like even though it's bad, like the difference isn't so much. The difference in quality is shocking.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they would have done better just pretending like it wasn't related. Like just change from Lestat to just a random vampire.
Like Blustat. Like anything.
Yeah. Oh man. Any other facts today? I'm sorry.
I
jumped in there.
No, that's fine. So Jonathan Davis is Lestat's vocals in the movie, but he couldn't be on the soundtrack due to contractual problems. So he brought his good friends Marilyn Manson, Chester Bennington, David Draymond, Wayne Static, and Jay Gordon from my personal favorite, Orgy, to sing on the soundtrack because he couldn't sing on the soundtrack despite being in the movie, which makes no sense. The people who release the soundtrack is the same people who make the movie. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was an issue with his with his label.
It's something to that effect.
Some contract that he signed is like, no, you can't like do music.
Well, because I think
Korn
potentially, it could have been one of those things where Warner Brothers purchased their original label. I don't know. I bet. Why I hate this album podcast. I bet those.
They'll hash it out a little
Tim
more.
and Garrett's have a pretty extensive research lab. I'm sure they'll work through the details.
I'm looking forward to the Jonathan Davis interview that'll be a part of that. I'm really please have that happen. That would be amazing.
Oh goodness, yeah. No. But no, it's now and so the album itself, and we won't talk much about it, but yeah, it's a very different experience hearing Jonathan Davis singing these songs versus all the other people, because it's all just a different vibe. Some are better, some are worse than the original, but I think you can actually YouTube. I think the DVD came out with the music videos for each of the tracks, so you can actually hear the full uncut versions with Jonathan Davis, like
because
on YouTube.
It's part
now.
of the movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I still think they should have done promo by putting one of those music videos on TRL. Just thrown it in there and been like, at number 3 this week, Why Won't You Die?
Oh.
No one would have known what it was. They would have been like, who is this guy?
Why does he sound like Jonathan Davis?
Like, why is this guy way skinnier than Jonathan Davis? Like, he looks
Teens
great.
were dumb back then. They probably would have worked.
But Jonathan Davis was allowed to play instruments for the songs. Yeah. Jonathan Davis wrote the song, played the instruments, but had to get someone else to sing it. It was just the singing part.
Interesting.
That's crazy. Anne Rice hates this. She says it, quote, mutilated her work. She was initially excited about it. She liked the Stuart Townsend guy more than Tom Cruise and was very excited. Let me read you an excited quote, just to drill this in your heads how much she hated this. The key factor is that the entire vampire contract terminates in the year 2000. All the properties revert to me at that time, unless production commences. Principal photography, that is, before that. I don't think it is possible for Warner Brothers to develop anything in that amount of time. They have not been receptive to my ideas at all. Not very long ago, I begged executives to let me write a script for The Vampire Lestat. So they combined 2 of her books into this movie, right?
Right.
For Union Scale. And they simply weren't interested. It was very painful for me as I had talked to a new director they'd hired and we were both excited. Then I felt snubbed and hurt and have not bothered to approach them since. I think developing the movie with a young director is a bad idea and it's basically a doomed project.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Now, further to add to that story, so they did eventually screen it to her and she said it was better and she allowed them to use her name on it. So when they drove that dumb truck of money in with the film canister,
her tune changed a little bit.
But then, like several years later, she's like, "Oh, no, it's hot garbage." Yeah, although she's still trying to shop the rights for like TV. She wants it to be more like a TV show, like True Blood. But no. That ship has sailed.
Yeah, that ship has sailed a long time ago.
Yeah. So I mean, overall thoughts about this movie.
It's a bad movie. Lisa, bad movie. Can we just get it out in the open right now? Just like Lestat, out in the open.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I really do love Interview with the Vampire.
This is not.
This wasn't the best.
This is a different movie than that.
It wasn't the worst though.
Well, yeah, not technically nothing's the worst, but
Jack Frost is the worst.
No,
You've made us watch Jack
Thanksgiving is worse.
Thanksgiving was better.
Worst.
No, Thanksgiving is worse. So this is better than Thanksgiving.
I'm on the fence on this one. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'm making up my mind.
We'll get you there.
Okay.
We will get you there.
Oh God. Yeah. No. I like this movie. Fine. It's not.
Oh,
you like the movie or you like the music?
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so I like the parts of this movie where they're doing band stuff.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes of the movie, maybe 15 minutes.
There's a yeah. The problem with this movie is that they are. It's like a Marvel movie where except they're trying to rush all the or it's better. It's like the DC Universe movies where they're trying to rush everything to get to what they're trying to get to. So they're throwing in a whole bunch of filler in the beginning to then get you to the real story they're trying to tell you, which is the Queen of the Damned. Because the first half of this is just
Aaliyah doesn't show up till over 50 minutes.
I know, and she's one of the best. And she's one of the best parts of the movie.
Wow, we are gonna disagree on this.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, Lisa, just on the spot, do your best Aaliyah's voice in this movie impersonation.
Oh gosh, I don't even.
So natural sounding, right?
I can't even. I don't know.
Go ahead, Mitch.
It is like a really bad, Transylvanian Dracula.
Are you dead?
That was not bad.
Yeah. Mitch, what are you doing? It's the worst.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. It's better than how she sounded.
I might disagree with that.
She's doing an Egyptian accent. Egyptian accent.
We are going to break the world. I mean,
exactly.
It's not Egyptian. It's more Italian than anything. I mean, geographically, it's close.
Not a single person listened to what she was saying. That's why she wore that outfit so that no one would hear. They're like, yeah, it's fine.
Outfit, not.
Do you see how many fangs they put in that poor girl? She could barely speak without a list.
Speaking of contractual obligations, I think Aaliyah's midriff was contractually obligated to not be covered the entire movie.
Oh yeah,
and shoulders. I have to be mostly unclothed, or else I'm walking.
Yeah, I would assume they'd have to work that one out. Let's jump into the meat of this episode in this movie. So obviously we have VH1 making the band, really starting things off. What in the hell? His audition. So as I mentioned on the show previously, I was a singer in a band. That is exactly the same way that I auditioned. Is I just showed up at my drummer's house. I was just open shirt, laid up on the amps, just wailing.
I'm a vampire.
Let's do this.
Yeah, just vocalizing.
I'm a vampire.
With the harmony.
This.
Yeah,
all your wildest dreams just came true.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I didn't actually say. I just said we're done. I'm in, right? And I think they were just blown away by my confidence that they just all right.
You used to wear a lot more eye makeup back then.
I did a lot more. It would clump together and my eyes would sit shut for days, but it's fine. We made it.
Hashtag true fact.
Yeah,
he did.
That's impressive.
What, wear eye makeup?
Come on now.
That's neither here nor there.
Wow.
This was back in the day.
I did not wear leather pants though.
When he was trying to pull a stat.
You cannot wear leather pants in Texas.
I am calling the Washington Post right now. We are reporting on this.
Geez. So I mean, what did y'all think about the whole lead up for this band, the press conference?
There was a video press conference.
Well, yeah, because he can't be there in person.
I know, but what I'm saying is it's like a whole video screen. MTV News is there getting the scoops.
Yeah.
I think MTV News did the best storytelling of the entire movie.
Where was Kurt Loder?
They couldn't even get Kurt Loder.
Yeah.
They couldn't get Matt Pinfield. They couldn't get anybody. They couldn't get anybody.
Deep cut.
Where's Downtown Julie Brown? Carson Daly in this movie would actually have been great.
That would have been a fantastic cameo.
Yeah, there should have been TRL was huge at this time. Why wasn't there a TRL
Well, TRL's during the day. So
is this press conference.
Oh, that's true.
No, they should have had TRL in there.
Also, bands don't have press conferences.
Yeah, I don't get what happened. So he ran he ran into this group. He's like, "You're my band now," and they're like, "Yeah, sure." How many albums did they release?
None.
Why are they playing one show? How many songs?
He did at least say that he doesn't like to repeat himself. It's not the worst marketing tactic,
understand.
I guess.
I mean, it's one time only. Okay, I get it.
They only get big because he's a vampire.
Look,
but he says he's a vampire. They're not sure. Like, ooh,
it's like, well, look, Foo Fighters. It's like when Foo Fighters says, "Hey, we're only playing like 3 cities in the U.S." Yeah. People are like, well, "Shit, now I gotta travel." That's kind of the deal. Except, no one's heard of this band before. The problem with
but they're famous. They've had music videos. They're famous.
But this is my problem with this band. There's so many other of these new metal bands. How is this band all of a sudden just like blown up more?
He's a vampire.
Like there aren't a whole bunch of other fat necks in New Orleans saying they're vampires. All
look at this. Think about this. Behind the scenes, what happened? Boom. Gavin Rossdale killed by vampires. Like he's taking them out, so he rises up the charts.
What in the shit are you talking about?
Nate is saying that he's taking out other bands.
Yeah, that's how they get more popular.
That would have been a better movie. That's not the movie we got, Nate.
I want to see Gavin Rossdale get bit. I want to see.
No, I'm just saying.
Where's Fred Durst cameo in this movie? Also, by the way,
you know who does have a cameo? Is Jonathan.
Jonathan Davis has a
Backstreet Boys, one at a time. One at a time. Bye. It's over.
That's the wrong. God,
I know.
That's Nate.
That's the joke. Yes.
Was it?
That was blasphemous.
No, I again, that's just why I feel like the whole band thing is preposterous the way they presented it. Because again, how many LARPers are out there thinking they're a vampire running around? Like, I just saying I'm a vampire shouldn't make you be the #1 rock band in the world.
It works. This guy's so charismatic
because
gimmick. Of his vampire.
Ozzy Osbourne was biting off bad heads for years, and now this one guy's like, I'm a vampire. Oh, let's
But his like charisma like travels through because he like can make people do things more than a normal person. It seems like. He's got weird.
Ozzy Osbourne convinced San Antonio to let him back in the city after pissing on the Alamo. You tell me about charisma.
I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
That's pretty great.
I finally won one.
Yeah.
We can wrap this all up. I finally won.
That's pretty good. But no, like I think his like vampire powers travel through the video camera.
I guess
into the crowd. I don't know.
Was his vampire power to have a very awkward Me Too-esque moment with the one reporter? Yeah. Maybe I'll show you. Give you a private.
I'll show a private conversation in your hotel room. Yikes!
That scene didn't age well.
I am reporting on music. Leave me alone. No. I don't want to be here. Like, do you think I wanted? Hold on. You think I wanted to be working for MTV News? That was not my first choice. It was not my second choice.
I was going to be the next Katie Couric.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I went to NYU journalism school, and now I'm covering this supposed vampire. I hate this.
So we learn. So we're gonna change here. So you go to we learn about the Talamasca, and by learn about, they say we're the Talamasca, and then that's as much as we're gonna find out.
We
about.
Observe, but we don't intervene.
Right. So apparently there are a bunch of
librarians,
occult nerds. Yeah.
A secret society of librarians.
Yeah. Doesn't seem that secret. I think you can go to a normal. You can go to a normal. Yeah, you go to a normal library and find the same books. I don't know what's.
You can't find the paintings of Marius though.
That's fine. I don't feel like I'm missing out on that.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with not having his painting.
Yeah. So let's talk about Marius. What'd y'all think about? What'd y'all think about? Okay, so we get Lestat's backstory and Marius.
Yeah, you can really see where they combined.
Don't ask Nate. His answer to everything for this was gonna be.
You can really see where they jammed the two movies together because they like a third of the movie is flashback.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? What is happening there? So he gets bit. He's like some lord in somewhere, and he's traveling abroad.
Well, but he's
traveling abroad and not
in
his place. So then this vampire's like, "You seem cool. I'm going to bite you so we can hang out for a long time."
And then he bails on him.
Because
he's like, "You screwed up my stone statue. Peace out."
Yeah. Then you drank blood from the statue I'm obsessed with, so I don't like you anymore.
But then when he comes back after 200 years, it's like, it's all good, bro.
Yeah, I'll do really terrible CGI effects and help you fight off other vampires.
Oh my God.
It was rough. All I gotta say is this: violin had to have been the new metal of the 1800s.
For sure.
That's what I learned from this movie.
Let me ask you: Is it shocking and or saddening to you that Bram Stoker's Dracula spent more money on the accents for Keanu Reeves, like the accent lessons for Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like compared to the accents in this movie, that was money well spent.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't invest in that part of this film at all. These accents are just all over the place. And
the accents are rough.
Yeah.
People are supposed to be French, and then they're not.
Right.
And then people are supposed to be English, and then they're also not English. I don't know. Yeah, it's all over the place.
And as you know, of all the languages that lend themselves to being more disguisable, like you can alter it to sound like others, Australian is that one.
Yes.
That dialect really
a lot of subtleties.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't forget. I mean, look, this is Keanu Reeves' British accent coach has to be renowned in the just the annals of cinema, right? Get that person to be Aaliyah's Egyptian coach. Something. She needed help, and she did not get it.
If you need help, please call me.
Yeah,
up, right?
If you need help with an Egyptian accent, please, you're not alone. You can call this toll-free number.
Now, so we kind of glossed over it. So he does find Akasha as a statue next to her Egyptian king. So I guess they were pharaohs. And
they're statues. Sure.
Yeah. And I guess they were pharaohs at one point. Sure. I mean, there's something around that. We don't know. They don't ever explain it. They're just statues.
Mitch, the statue likes me better, and deal with it.
What I did find,
that's what it turns into.
What I did find funny is that Lestat starts playing his violin for her, and then she slowly turns her hand, and I was like,
statue.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, that's not how this works. When I go to New Orleans, I see the street performers. Usually the person who does the work then asks for the tip. I don't go in the street. I don't walk down.
Well, technically,
I don't walk down Bourbon Street. And when someone's playing, I'm like, that was great. Can I have some money now, please?
Technically,
Thank you.
He did get the tip. It was like super Egypt, ancient vampire blood.
From a statue.
This is normal. This is a movie. Statues are bleeding and turning and moving. No worries.
Now, is that definitely the prop that she took home with her after filming was over? She's like, y'all made a statue of me. That's going in my house. It didn't
sound like filming was over before.
I don't think she had a whole lot of time to take the props back.
But maybe she would have taken it had she, survived.
Her family probably took it.
Maybe.
If her brother had to come do voiceover work, he could at least give her the statue of his sister.
I mean, I will say, if I met with an untimely demise, I would want a big statue of me
commemorating
on my, on like a big mausoleum.
Are you wearing that outfit with the?
Yes,
like
with the headdress.
Is it? It's basically a headdress, Princess Leia.
That, but I'm also sitting on the Iron Throne. These are all. Okay. This is all in my will, by the way, Lisa. I forgot to let you know that I mentioned. I made some changes to the will. Nate's also getting buried with me at the time.
So no longer Egyptian. Stuffed on the front yard.
Very Egyptian.
Huh?
So no longer stuffed on the front yard.
If we ever have a little girl, maybe you can stuff me like a big bear and put me in the living room. But for now, no.
What is a girl?
It's to fend off gentlemen callers.
To fend off, yeah. Gentlemen call, both for Lisa and for
wow.
Just stag me around. Also, you can use me as a good Halloween prop. As long as I'm going to some spooky Halloween centric thing, I'm fine.
No, I've seen the way people mistreat our Halloween props. That's not happening.
Lisa, you can spread my remains across all the different corners of the U.S. Just not cremated. That's all I ask.
It is October, y'all.
You stand in 4 states at once and you just leave Mitch's foot there. So he's in 4 states. Like that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't go down to the toe level. It's just gonna get.
Hey, if we have any notaries listening to the podcast, please email us at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So so we get back to regular time. Let's talk about this club scene. So the reporter, who cares what her name is?
Jessie. No, she's a Talamascan.
Well, she's not really. She's like a Talamascan in training.
She's like an apprentice.
No, not an Episcopalian.
Episcopalian.
Oh, I am an Episcopalian.
Episcopalian Talamascan.
Yeah. So she decides she's going to go investigate this club that everyone told her, hey, don't do that.
There's vampires there.
Which they're really bad. They say they observe things, but they don't actually go anywhere to observe things.
They had already scolded her for going once, and she didn't care.
But this is like 2001, and like they're observing is like, oh, I like bought a painting. It's like, grab a video camera. Like, right? Like, what are you doing?
Keep a better record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a lot of trouble with the outfit, the hairstyle, everything about this club. Really,
everything about everyone's outfit and hairstyle. I think you could probably point to.
I don't understand goth culture. I think it's where it came down to. And I don't know that this was a good representation of goth culture at the time either.
If you are a goth and you want to chime in on this topic, please tweet us.
We're really alienating every part of our fan base during this episode.
Isn't that our goal usually?
All the vampires, all the goths, people from Idaho.
The Visigoths or the regular ones?
Just both types of goths.
All the Germanic tribes are very upset with us.
All the Germanic tribes. But no, she goes undercover and to learn about the vampire. She read Lestat's journal, which is the whole flashback part. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to be obsessed with that guy now. So let me go try to check him out. Gets his attention, and then they basically start flirting with each other. And she's like, I'm going to eventually bang this Lestat dude.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the scene.
Yeah. What do you think about the little fight scene with them hissing and then running away in a really cool little stutter?
So it's effect? Like, I was going to say it's like the $6 Million Man, kind of like shin-na-na-na kind of thing. But then I was like, it's but
they should have. They should have.
Yes. Oh.
Shin-na-na-na-na-na.
I say they need to re-release it with that. But
I was going to say it's more like the $6 Man because it was really bad CGI, like really bad, like really bad.
Look, we have the technology. I just don't want to spend a lot of time or effort on that.
Yeah, exactly. We have the technology. No, we're not gonna, but we're not using it.
No, we're denying this request.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a weird scene, but you're right. It really was just to lead up to her basically wanting to, just basically bang him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to bang this dude. And I guess there's another scene with groupies who are like thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be a groupie where the guy says he's a vampire in a band. That's just groupie 101. Like the guy says he's a vampire. No. So Lisa, if you ever want to be a groupie just in the future, no vampires.
I already did that groupie life.
You already did that groupie life.
Woo!
She's like, yeah, Mitch, I was in on the eye makeup and then he stopped wearing it. What's going on?
The eye makeup was before I met him, unfortunately.
Wow, this is becoming an unfortunate episode for me.
Yeah.
Well, I did learn one thing in this movie that I did not know before. They talked about the different lyrics and how that there's deeper hidden meaning in the lyrics. And I said, no, because I know Jonathan Davis wrote these. There cannot be a deeper meaning. One of the lyrics is literally, you think you're smart, you're not.
See, sometimes people think that their intelligence defines them, but really they don't know about how it is to be a person in the. I'm kidding. There's nothing behind it.
Yeah,
they might have thought. What do you think Jonathan Davis's motivation was for this?
Money. And I mean, again, if you drive a big enough dump truck of cash to someone's house,
was this like self-referential? He's like, I thought I'd be really smart. Like, I'm going to branch into movies, right? I'm going to write all this movie stuff, and then I'm going to score movies. I'm going to be like Trent Reznor now, right? And then he was writing about himself like, I thought I was smart. I'm not.
I think it's the opposite. I think Trent Reznor saw Jonathan Davis who's like, oh, he can do it. I got this. And then he went on to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Because Trent Reznor is the man. And in fact, if you're going to do a goth culture movie, why are you not getting like Trent Reznor involved?
What did he win an Oscar for?
The social
network.
Yeah, Social Network.
Oh, nice.
He did this.
I mean, he does a bunch of scores for very high profile movies now.
Yep. Okay, so back to this club. So Akasha does come back alive because of the music. It draws her out.
The new metal music of Lestat.
That's what she's been waiting a millennia for.
That's what she's waiting for.
Is new metal. It's both. I mean, new metal truly is what's going to damn our society.
I hope in this universe that Fred Durst woke her up and then she just killed him. And then went back to sleep.
You need to let this. You need to talk to someone about this. Fred Durst. Hey, did he wrong you? Did he like come over to your house and
his
kick
New
your
York
dog
Yankees
or something?
hat started white and then it ended up red.
Did you used to like wear red hats all the time and then you no longer can because he took that from you?
This is an exclusive story, but when I was in 8th grade, my girlfriend at the time did buy me a red Yankees hat, and I wore it for some time.
Backwards?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
So
that's embarrassing.
So I guess if I were psychoanalyzing you, Nate, which I am, or really I'm just judging you, but that's fine. It's the same thing. It doesn't sound like you're mad at Fred Durst. It sounds like you're mad at yourself.
Yeah,
We're learning all sorts of fun facts up in here tonight.
Yeah, this show's getting oddly personal.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, so she goes back to the
rolling. Let's keep rolling through this.
So Akasha, first thing is she's like, great, I've been asleep for 5,000 years. I'm going to go clubbing. Time to go clubbing. Time to get my groove back.
She's got her clubbing outfit on.
Yes, which is her only outfit because that was also in stone. Good, which I guess is helpful that your clothes turn to stone too. Helpful.
Yeah, her clothes
effect.
are metal. Her clothes are metal.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
She goes in this thing. She rips out a dude's heart and eats it.
She doesn't bite anybody. She never bites anybody.
She doesn't. And then she just starts setting people on fire.
That made no sense.
Just completely immolating people.
Like I'm just basically like, I'm not even a vampire anymore. I'm just like, I'm like the guy from Fantastic Four at this point. Like she's not a vampire. It doesn't make any sense. Who's a vampire who can just turn other vampires into fire?
She's queen of the vampires.
Yeah, but what is that? I don't get.
She's the mother of dragons.
Explain the physics to me of how she catches only vampires.
Explain the physics to you when there's vampires.
Yeah,
she can use her blood to help ignite the mitochondria in the other blood.
But she's just like,
I don't know.
She's like pointing her hand. How does her blood go out from her hand?
It's because she has midichlorians in her blood that give her
high midichlorian count.
Yes.
Okay, that's probably it.
Right.
It's basically the Force, though. It is that. Basically, she has the Force.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
It's a very convenient power for sure.
Very convenient.
Yeah, but so she sets the whole thing on fire, and then we get the greatest CGI cutscene of her like walking out of the fire, and they pan the camera over to the fire in the doorway, and then you can see literally where they're just like, all right, now cut the scene of her right there walking out, and there it is.
Yeah, like like you were saying, Lisa, for Game of Thrones, when Daenerys walks out of the fire, they were saying, all right, so here's what not to do.
Yeah,
they screened this scene, and they go, this is how it can go wrong. Don't do this, and then they made a really good scene. So it worked out nicely.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So this is all in preparation. Here,
there's no way to segue this. This movie is so
in true form,
they're just trying to hit all the major plot points they need to touch on. Like,
you need to spend as much time on her on this podcast as they did in the movie.
Well, then we're done. We don't have to talk about
Pretty
her
much.
anymore. Yeah, it's
we're spending more time talking about the plot than the writers of the movie did.
Absolutely.
So
she basically decides she's going to destroy the whole world. Because chill.
Because reasons.
In Egypt, she
with Lestat at her side.
In Egypt, she liked killing people and being out in the open. She's like, I'm just gonna make the world how it was in Egypt, like 2,500 years ago. What?
And Jesse runs into some rando at the concert who's like, I know your whole history. Come with me.
Very convenient. You know how when you go to Death Valley, how big did this CGI crowd look? Looked like there was hundreds of thousands of people.
A ton.
According to I thought they just used B-roll from Mad Max or the California Love video with all the cars parking in the desert.
So in like Australia, they got tons of goth extras. They're like, hey, we're putting out the word. Yeah. Australian goths. Gosh. This is your movie. And they came out in droves.
Yeah, any of our Australian listeners, which I know we have a few, we would love to know more about the Australian goth scene.
Yeah, share your selfies that you took at this concert. Maybe you were in the movie. That'd have been amazing.
I love at this concert too. So I love that Disturbed is opening. That's what's implied when they're playing Down with the Sickness.
Down with the Sickness, yeah.
Disturbed's opening for Lestat. I thought that was, good for them. You know, they're moving on up. That's how, you gotta open up for bigger bands to get your name out there.
Seems like a downgrade.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was bad.
Did there.
But then I guess the concert starts. There are We missed a huge plot point. All the vampires want to kill Lestat because he's saying, I'm a vampire and I'm telling vampire secrets to the humans.
You weren't the only one that missed the plot point. The writers did as well.
It's like, oh yeah, every vampire wants to kill me, but not in that club I was in earlier. But now, what?
Yeah,
that was
right.
like a couple days later. Doesn't make any sense. That's fine.
Yeah.
Vampires come out of the woodwork at this concert.
I will say I did like the effect of having the vampires stand still when everyone else was moving.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
That was one of the cooler shots of the whole film.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It was creepy.
The concert was fine.
Until a bunch of vampires started jumping on the stage.
Yeah. I think I will. Yeah.
All angles.
I will say my favorite part though is Marius is such a proud dad. Like he's up there on stage and he's just like little golf clapping.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember one show. I think my band we were opening for Power Man 5000.
Oh, that is awesome.
Which I could have fit in this movie as well. I mean,
Power Man 5000 would have been great on this.
Fair.
Fighter's awesome.
Yeah. So we were opening for them and my mom showed up to the show because she remembered I used to listen to their album a long time ago and she used to actually kind of like it. And so she was there and yeah, she was in the crowd like everyone else just, would cheer after a song. You can see her like just like a little like golf clap, like very awkwardly, like, proud momming it over there.
Yeah.
It was a weird experience. So I get it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Marius, the Kung Fu fight scene.
Kung Fu is generous. This is like tangerine belt taekwondo.
Yeah, it's like
one of the citrus colors.
When did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon come out? I feel like they were.
When did The Matrix come out?
It was a little before this. It was like 99 or something.
Yes, I think they were trying to mix them for sure.
It was the worst fight scene I've almost ever seen. And I don't think it's close.
One guy got impaled by a mic stand, and let me tell you, I've used enough mic stands to know those little cheap piece of shit collapse on you very easily. That's the most egregious thing to me in this movie is that mic stand. The mic somehow
stand, like 1 out of 10. Mic stand physics way off.
Look, he hasn't sold any albums. Where's he getting the money for all this shit?
I
guess his record label.
They've sold albums. I think this is like it flashes forward in the future with no indication. I think
those songs are brand new. I don't know.
What's a better fight scene? This fight scene or the 20-minute fight scene from that WWE movie we watched? I can't remember the name of it now.
The WWE.
Oh no! Oh, that one. He's just talking about They Live.
Oh, They Live is
They Live. Times incredible. Better. Incredible fight scene.
The WWE movie, They Live. I don't think John Carpenter would be very pleased to hear you call
That's the only reason anyone
Roddy
to
Piper.
See it.
But yeah, this fight scene is awful. It's so bad.
Now I'm just imagining Hulk Hogan being Marius. Let's get these vampires, brother.
Do you guys remember the episode of The Office when Michael and Dwight fight each other?
Oh,
in that dojo? It was barely better than that. Barely.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Point.
It was like almost like a slap fight.
It was.
But with shin slap. And then that was it. Then Aaliyah is like, you know what? This is a good time.
Screw all you guys.
I'm going to come out of the bottom of the stage. How is this possible? Did she tunnel through the earth?
Yeah.
Under the stage? How?
She's practically a Super Saiyan at this point. She's just
it doesn't
flying
make
through.
any sense. She's pretty skinny in this movie. She looks like she weighs about 85 pounds. The necklace outfit gives her about 15 extra pounds. So it's like 100 pounds total. Maybe she slid underneath the stage and then came up. I don't know how this is possible.
She just burrowed from one end of the earth to the other.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the scenes in between this and the final scene because this movie didn't. Suffice it to say, she whisks Lestat away.
Like Superman.
And then all of a sudden, all these like ancient, like the more ancient vampires who are like the He-Man Akasha Haters Club join up to decide we're going to stop her. Why? Who knows?
Yeah, there's the blonde one. The lady who's like related to Jesse somehow.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't really gather how that
she
exactly
is her
worked.
great grandmother.
Yeah, like she had a child and then she was turned to a vampire. So her child was still immortal and still had a family.
Yeah.
But
she just took care of the generations.
Yeah, she kept an eye on.
So she lied to her and told her she was her aunt when she's really like her great grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying then she just magically shows up. Like, oh, look.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was weird. Jesse just meets this rando at the concert. He's like, oh, by the way, you wanted to know your history of your family? Come with me.
Yep. That was super convenient. That was nice.
Yeah, I don't have a sense of where any of this takes place. So then this is okay. So they're all plotting to, attack Akasha, and then Akasha and Lestat just show up. Like, let's just do this.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Seems like it's a bold strategy.
They were running out of money. Okay. They had to finish this movie.
And what's crazy is that Jesse's still all about Lestat, even though earlier in the movie, he basically murdered a woman right in front of her for no reason.
Yeah. I will say, I should say,
is she all right? And then like the lady's screaming as she's dying. It's like, she's not all right. No. You are an idiot. You were supposed to be even an apprentice on the Talamascans know that vampires kill people. Seems pretty obvious.
Right.
This lady's awful.
She hadn't gotten to that chapter in the book yet.
Oh, I guess we skipped the part where they totally had sex. I forgot about that. We skipped that part.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How do we not talk about the bloodbath scene? So obviously one of the more famous scenes is Akasha and Lestat in the big heart-shaped rose-petaled bloodbath bath. And then she's like biting her nipple, and it reminded me of
with Deftones.
With Deftones playing.
And
so
changed. That was good. That was fine. That was all
good
right.
use of Deftones.
That was
also
okay.
Do not ever say a bad word about Deftones in front of me. We're gonna fight. Don't at me. But she started biting his nipple. I got flashbacks to Keanu Reeves and Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I was like, I don't want to see blood shooting out of a nipple right now. I can't.
I think this guy was trying
to
do Keanu Reeves and Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it did not work.
I don't know why Lestat's so shocked though when he sees the massacre, which is one of the cooler scenes in this movie. That big massacre, like you see everyone like on the beach, just like murdered by Akasha. Where do you think all this blood came from that he's bathing in? Why is he shocked by it? Where did it just magically come from?
He's been a vampire for hundreds of years. This is Vampire 101.
Like, yeah, she's really hungry. She's been stoned for a millennia.
It's the leftover pig's blood from Carrie.
Akasha, no, she just goes to the local blood bank and breaks in and then takes all the blood.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lisa, what did you think about this love scene? This
love was generous.
Fine.
This nipple biting scene. What did she think about? Is that the better way to describe it? I don't know.
Don't know.
It was fine. No. What about the massacre? What about that scene with all the dead bodies everywhere?
I agree with you. It shouldn't have been so shocking.
Yeah.
Because was it Marius? Marius is like, look, she just wants blood. She will kill everything, living or dead. She will just attack it.
You usually get more blood out of living things. Oh.
Yeah, but I guess he meant she wanted vampire blood too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, he literally, as a show of what vampires do, had murdered somebody in front of Jesse. And then this is like the Super Saiyan god of the vampires.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
Isn't it weird that vampires have blood? This is it's totally a non sequitur. I mean, is it the blood that's inside vampires?
It's like mosquitoes.
Is it their blood, or is it just the blood that they've sucked from other things?
Mosquito-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
But that, you know what? Let's just skip to the end. There's the good off-brand vampires.
Yeah.
Now I don't know any of their names. Blonde one.
Yeah.
Jesse's aunt.
Goth to boss one. The great aunt. Others.
Marius.
They're Marius. They just attack Aaliyah.
Akasha, Aaliyah.
Yeah. After Lestat decides to betray her because Jesse showed up. And they had sex once. It's like I guess her sex was better? Her sex scene was better than Deftones' sex scene with Aaliyah?
I guess Akasha's been out of practice for a while, Gotta only been
She's
5,000 years.
She's rusty.
It hasn't kept up with the techniques. I don't know.
It's like she was statuesque.
I don't know what. I'm getting a hell of a look right now. I don't know what.
She was
very statuesque.
She was statuesque. Not moving enough. Oh my God.
I'm starting a petition to get off the podcast. If you agree that I deserve to be off the podcast, please at me.
No, your contract clearly states you're not allowed to get out on Patricia's petition.
Oh man.
All right. So they all fly over and attack her, and then she very poorly immolates one at a time.
Yeah.
Although I feel like she set like 80 of them on fire all at once earlier.
I think you're right because her blood was draining. So it was like in any video game of a cooldown timer. So her blood was going away. She's like, I got every 15 seconds, I can burn someone to death. And of course, I'm not going to go for the ringleaders, the head ones. I'm just going to go for like the minions first.
Right. I just feel like it was a poor strategy to show up. But whatever.
Yeah, I wrote quote fight quote between vampires and Aaliyah because there's basically no fighting.
Yeah.
She's standing there, standing up, getting her blood taken.
Yep.
Just standing there, never moving.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
Give her a no. Give her something.
It was a poor fight scene. I don't know. And again, it's hard to guess. I'm willing to cut this a little slack right here, only because I don't know how much of it was done with Aaliyah versus without.
Well, it was after the filming was done. So she got all her scenes in.
Oh, well then I've got no excuse for why they didn't have a better fight scene for the Queen of the Damned who you've been building up this whole time.
Exactly. She's like the main, and then it basically was like Aaliyah Country Buffet, and then the movie was over. Or the climax was over.
Did you say Aaliyah Country Buffet?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Damn, that's
like a
great.
million vampires.
That's
were
great.
eating
I love
over.
it. I love it. That
it made no sense.
Aaliyah Country. We're gonna make I think we need to make a graphic for that.
Sure.
All right. So inevitably Aunt Margaret, who everyone in the audience has become very attached to because you've been growing with her through this whole film. Takes the last bite, and the emotional weight of her becoming a stone just hits the audience like a rock.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Jesse got like mortally wounded in this. I forgot about that.
Barely.
Mortally wounded.
Yeah. So
and she gets turned.
Akasha turns into stone, but then turns into dust or sand or something. And then Aunt Margaret is now
the head.
Or Maharet. It was some weird name, but I'm gonna call her Aunt Margaret.
It was Maharet.
We're gonna go Margaret.
Because they imply that she lived at the same time as Akasha. Like that Akasha might have been the one
she
that
was the
turned her.
understudy.
Gotcha.
For that.
So anyway, so now she's a stone person, but which is not a death sentence because clearly you just wake up if someone plays violin or nu metal. So the sequel will just be Skrillex coming out and she's woken up from her torpor.
So Lestat turns Jesse, roll credits.
Yeah, she's a vampire, and then
now they're vampire banging.
All right, I guess the last thing I want to ask you before we get into our final segments here, back to the concert real quick, because that's really kind of one of the main pieces of what we've been building to this whole movie.
It's the most climactic scene, which makes no sense because of where it's placed in the movie.
Right. What do y'all think the Rolling Stone review for that concert was? Like
prima donna Lestat flies off stage before the concert's over. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it would have gotten a good review, but only because there were actual vampires there.
Yeah, I feel like they would have said it would have been too gimicky. Like they would have been like, oh yeah, the use of all these paid vampire extras, and like they wouldn't have believed. Like they were just like, Lestat's really trying to sell that he's a vampire.
Raucous crowd ruins. What was the name of the band? Shit, I forgot the name of the band.
The Vampire Lestat. It wasn't like a look. It better have been. You're not going to come out and be like, oh yeah, this band's about me. I'm going to make you a star. By the way, we're called I don't know.
The Vampire Lestat. At least Paul McCartney's like, I'll give you wings. You know what I mean? Paul McCartney and wings.
Sir.
So
Paul
is this
McCartney.
Joan Jett and the Black.
He didn't bust his ass through years of night school to become
He was sleeping the whole time.
Sir.
He wasn't even busting his ass. He was sleeping.
Is this the Chris Angel of vampire concerts?
Oh. Yeah.
Ooh.
This is Angel-esque.
Oh. What I do love about the concert is that all this murder is happening and no one in this crowd is leaving.
No.
Because they think it's fake. They think it's just really well done. That's it.
They're like, this is better than what he was singing. So
well,
let's see where this plays out.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you would have thought this whole fight would have happened with Akasha at the concert. All right. Like,
no.
That'd
have been too costly for the production company. So no, thank you.
Yeah. All right. What else? Anything else you want to talk about with this film?
No.
All right.
I'm going to say no. Anything else, Lisa?
No.
Then I have to ask, what would y'all have done differently?
Son of a bitch, you left the bodies and you only moved the headstones! You only moved the headstones! Why? Why?
Yeah, so Lisa, what do you do? You're any other character in this movie. What do you do differently?
Come back to me.
Okay.
Come back to you. Mitch, you go first.
Fine.
Well, switching it up.
Someone's wearing their big boy pants today. No, you know what? I'm going to get back to what the point of this segment really is about. What I would do differently is really about what choices would you have made differently to maybe better survive or increase your chances of survival in a horror situation. For me, I think back to the gypsies in his backstory, and they're playing violin with him. And she, the dad or whoever sees that he has like the flame in his eyes.
It was like a yellow flame.
Yeah, it was a yellow flame. And it's just like, maybe you just don't freak out about it. Maybe you're just like, oh, that's a devil. I'm just going to just keep playing. And
you're the other violinist lady.
Just play my own damn business until he leaves. Yeah.
Oh, play it cool. Okay. Yeah. That's smart. That's really smart. If I'm Lestat was asleep for, I forgot, who cares, 100 years or something. Maybe wake up in a better time frame of music. So you woke up.
Again,
new metal is the music.
If you sound like Jonathan Davis, what other style? Maybe that should have been a good question. If you sound like Jonathan Davis, what other style of music are you waiting for?
But Jonathan Davis is doing things with his voice like on purpose to make it Jonathan Davis-y. Like Jonathan Davis could sing a nice song on acoustic guitar.
So what, do you want the 50s? When did you want him to wake up?
I was going to say the 80s.
Because let me tell you, I've heard Jonathan Davis doing like dubstep, and it's not good. So I would not have waited for now.
But if you wanted to hide behind like terrible clothing and like hair and makeup,
yeah, the Bowie era stuff.
I'm saying 80s. I'm saying Flock of Vampires. just go right for it. Get a guitar, rock it out there. It's an even lower bar than new metal.
All right,
and Lestat could have rolled in the 80s.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Lisa.
And it'd be easier to murder people in the 80s. No internet, no anything. Like that'd have been a nice time.
It would have been a nice time murdering folk.
Murdering would have been easier. He could have done stuff. It'd have been great. No press conferences, video cameras in the 80s. You just do all your press conferences at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, and it would have been in LA. It would have been fine. All right, Lisa, what do you do differently?
I think if I'm Jessie, I don't leave my aunt. Because she like kicked her out when she was a kid. She's like, you have to be with your own kind. Why? She's going to turn into a vampire eventually.
Yeah, but you don't
just raise her until it's time to turn her.
No, but you want to be like, I'm like late 20s attractive person as a vampire forever, but not like Kirsten Dunst young girl as a vampire forever.
No, I'm not saying turn her then. I'm saying they raise her until she's like 20-ish, whenever she wants to turn, and then they turn her.
Because her great grandma or whatever is pretty powerful. She could probably protect her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's protected all these generations before her. Why not? I think she gave up on it too easily. She's like, all right, so my great grandchildren, your parents are dead. Like, so you got to get out.
I've watched so many of my lineage die. I just don't care anymore. Maybe that's it. It's like this parenting. I'm not cut off for this parenting.
Yeah.
I know I've tried it a lot of times. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Pretty convenient that she shows up and like, you're right. That was so ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, guys, look, there's a drought. There's a creativity drought.
There's been no sequel to this.
And I need to know what your sequel is.
Because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
Shockingly, no sequel to this has been made. Shockingly.
That is fair. I mean, future episode Lost Boys has 2 sequels that I've never seen.
Exactly, but at least
Leprechaun has an army. The Puppet Master is still making movies, and no one but me and like 4 other people are watching Puppet Master movies. So I don't know who these are for.
Yeah, but this one, no. And this is vampires got hot, and they still didn't go back to this well.
So Nate, what are you gonna do for your sequel?
My sequel idea is I liked the part where there was the gypsy and the vampires killing the gypsy people back in the day.
So you're pro gypsy murder. Go on.
That scene was the most emotionally resonant scene of the movie.
Not Aunt Maharet, who you've...
No.
Okay.
Who cares about that person? Lestat liked one person ever and then murdered that person because he had to because he's a vampire. And he's like, all right, I'm a vampire now. I'm a dick.
Yeah.
The whole rest of the time.
Cool.
But he gets in a violin riff off with this lady.
Mm-hmm.
But who's the ultimate violin riff off person you could go against?
The devil.
The devil.
I was with you.
Yep.
I got it.
Yep. So my sequel is Anne Rice's The Vampire Goes Down to Georgia.
So this is Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny?
Yeah, except with vampires. That'd be sweet. The devil versus Lestat. Lestat trying to get his humanity back from the devil. Maybe the devil's the OG vampire. Holy shit.
Interesting.
All right, I'm gonna spitball on here, but this sounds awesome.
I like it. Lisa, what about you?
So, forget the sequel. I want them to redo this, but I want them to redo it as 2 movies. I actually want them to take each book and do a proper movie. Because I feel like if they had fleshed out the Vampire Lestat and then fleshed out Queen of the Damned,
I did not know
it would have been much better.
I didn't know you were Anne Rice's spokesperson. I didn't realize that.
I haven't read them. And now that I've seen this, because this is the second time I've seen this movie, I kind of want to read them because I have a feeling the books are really much, much better than either of the movies.
That sounds entirely reasonable.
But I love Interview with a Vampire. And that one's a pretty long movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
over
2
hours,
plus hours. Yeah. So, I mean, you need time to flesh out her stories.
Nope. Crappy backstory. 1 violin duel. That's all you need.
Yep.
That's all you need.
So that's what I would want.
Yeah.
Well, if you're remaking it, who's Lestat then? You got to remake it. Obviously, you're not going to cast this guy who doesn't probably act anymore. Who do you get instead?
Who? That's a good question.
And is the music Skrillex? Did I steal yours, Mitch?
No.
You could be. He's an EDM guy.
No, it won't be an EDM.
Okay.
I don't know. I got to
Calvin
think
Harris says Lestat.
Yeah. And like who's that person now?
Maybe Henry Cavill. I think he'd make a good Lestat.
Oh, Henry Cavill. Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
He's out on Superman now.
Yeah.
He's
free.
The vampire Lestat.
Seems like a downgrade.
Getting a lot of dudes with non-French accents. He went from Australia to a British dude.
Well, what French actor do you know? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Is Gerard Depardieu available?
Oh my gosh.
Hell no.
That's all I got.
Hell no.
What do you got, Mitch?
I don't know. Put Skarsgård in it. Why not?
That band became more horrifying.
He just goes on stage and just stares at people.
So I started off, I had one idea where I was like, it'd be kind of cool. What if we got to see Lestat on tour? And he's just going through all these different cities.
Lestat on the Warped Tour.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Fang's Warped Tour. Yeah. But then I realized that's basically the Green Room. And that movie already exists.
Well, it's the Green Room from the outside. The vampire. Ooh, that'd actually be cool too.
But yeah, him stopping off at every town, city, and all that, and fighting vampires that are trying to kill him. Be fine. But I think I got a better one. So they don't get into Akasha's backstory, which is one of the big faults of this movie. But she's clearly, she's out in the open as a vampire in ancient Egypt. She's clearly, married to the pharaoh. She's, royalty. She's obviously that upper class, right? My question is, what other supernatural being is tied to ancient Egypt?
The Egyptian gods?
Aliens.
Oh, Stargate,
that's right.
Stargate style.
Ancient aliens versus Akasha.
You always do the verses. You and the verses.
I don't necessarily know verses, but let me look. Think about it. What if you had the talent? I mean, you can even do this old school, like a prequel, right?
Yeah.
So you'd actually see where she come from. Maybe all the vampires are actually aliens, and that's how they all got to the Earth. Maybe vampires are aliens. So there's that aspect. But then you also have in the future, or at least the present day, the Talamascans versus the crazy haired dude from Ancient Alien. And they're just like arguing over who really controls the world.
I thought you were going Akasha versus Predator. I thought that's where you were going.
No, but that I would also. I don't know if I would pay to see that one.
I would love an Aaliyah. Well, obviously we can't do this, but an Aaliyah movie that was like apocalyptico.
Okay.
In Egypt.
Okay.
Like her just like running shop, and then some calamity happens, and she turns into a statue somehow.
Yeah. She turns. That's how it just ends. She's just a statue.
Yeah. The end is just the statue.
Oh man, because in Egypt they have is it the Hall of Kings where they have like the 4 statues of them all sitting up. What if those are all just big vampires?
It's like giant vampires.
Yes.
What? Sure. Better than this movie. Better than this.
I'm just saying. What if all the pharaohs were vampires? What if King Tut was just a baby vampire and he stepped out into the sun?
Oh, nice. Okay.
Maybe I'm just saying there's some I mean hell there's a mummy crossover that it probably leads you could go all over.
No, mummies are just the vampires that are really old. They wrap them up to hide their identities. Holy shit. And you wake them up. They're like, I guess I got to murder you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously you get The Rock to be in that movie.
The Rock needs to be in every movie. I mean,
yeah, he was Scorpion King.
Oh,
so then Scorpion King.
Yeah, exactly. Versus Scorpion King. I know. I like the versus movie. I think they're stupid. All right. So with all that said, we're going to get into
Final Cut.
All right. The Final Cut where we give a rating out of 10, whatever scale we want to use to rate this film. Lisa, as our unsuspecting victim, you are the voice for all those who hate horror films. Where do you put this?
But you apparently like Limp Bizkit, so I'm just gonna put that caveat out.
I don't see why that's such a problem.
I think
more people like Limp Bizkit than Orgy, Nate.
That's more true. People like Limp Bizkit than they like you.
Damn.
God damn.
I don't know about percentage wise, but total numbers.
I'm just dropping. Just playing all those drops.
Total numbers. I 100% agree.
She just torched your ass. Do I have enough drops here?
I don't think you do. Yeah, you need to get more later.
Unfortunate. Anyway, Lisa.
So I'll start off saying this is totally unsuspecting victim approved, unless you just have a fear of vampires.
You're saying scariness wise.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's not scary.
You can handle it.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
The scariest thing is the acting.
The scariest thing is like the fight scenes. Like,
That's
awesome.
Anyway, sorry.
So, like I said, I'm on the fence on this one. I want to really, really like it, but the more we talked about it, the more I'm like, gosh, it wasn't that good, was it?
No.
So, since I'm on the fence, I'm going to go middle of the line and give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying in the light of day, this movie falls apart.
Unless you have a cautious blood in you.
Yeah, he is a daywalker now too.
I hate this. I hate this movie. There's no rules.
Right.
Okay, just because it was filmed in Australia doesn't mean there's no rules just right, like Outback Steakhouse. Okay, there has to still be rules.
I'm really disappointed that one of the instruments on stage was not a didgeridoo. I feel like they could have worked that in. We worked at a didgeridoo in one of our albums. I don't think it's that hard.
Where's the boomerang kill? Where is any of this? They didn't use any.
Oh man! All right, so I gave so you gave it 5 out of 10. What? I'm sorry. Did you?
Bloodbaths.
God damn it! Well, we're even now. Okay.
I stole it.
Yeah. So
you're rating the sex scene in the bloodbath 5 out of 10?
The only reason that scene was okay was because of Deftones.
Okay.
Because it came on, I was like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah. So. Lisa asked me how many times have I seen this movie, and I said all the way through 3 bits and pieces, 10 to 12.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you, my first time I saw it in theaters, and I think my first reaction about this movie was not, wow, that was a great movie. It was, oh man, I want to go get the soundtrack.
Oh wait, Jonathan Davis is not on the soundtrack.
Right.
His lyrics are all over it. And instrumentals apparently.
Yes.
So
he's there sort of in spirit. It's like you're paying. You're really only getting like what 8/10 of Jonathan Davis on this.
Yeah.
So with that said, I give this movie 4 out of 10 Jonathan Davis cameos. It is.
Well, he was the ticket scalper.
Yes, he was ticket scalper. It is in reviewing it a bad movie. There are parts of this movie that I do enjoy. There are parts that I'm like, oh, if they had explored this a little bit better, maybe this would have been like salvageable or salvaged to a little bit more degree. There's just, hopefully it comes across. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is 2 books smashed together, ripped of all the backstory and nuance to basically get you to Aaliyah. And the best part of this movie doesn't show up until an hour into the film.
Because the rights were running out and they had to make something.
Yeah. Which is a bad, I mean they made money, so I guess fine, but
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. And I can't give it lower. I certainly can't give it higher.
What 4 out of 10 what?
Oh, I said Jonathan Davis cameos.
Oh, Jonathan Davis cameos. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So drop the hammer, Nate. I know you've been waiting for this.
This movie is ridiculous. So yeah, the Jonathan Davis cameo was that was okay. He was like a skeezy ticket scalper. It's like, all right, that's fine. I believe that in this movie. No, but yeah, in terms of this, I can't believe you watched it that many times. That is shocking to me. I could barely get through this. I think the problem is that there's a lot of source material to work with, and they did so poorly at adapting it.
Yeah.
Whereas like a movie like Slice or Mandy, the 2 movies we've done previously, they're starting from scratch, so they get a little more leeway because it's like I'm making this up as I go.
Was this the first time you've seen this movie?
I think I've seen it once before.
Okay,
like a long time, like over 10 years ago.
And I think I want to be clear. The scenes that I've watched multiple times. When I say I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Sex scene with Aaliyah, we go. Okay.
Yes. No, it was all the band stuff, all the music video specific kind of stuff. The bar scene with Aaliyah where she sets everyone on fire.
You walk in, Mitch is watching this on the computer. He's like, I'm doing it for the Deftones song.
I feel like it's one of those movies though that has come on TV randomly in the past few years, and we just leave it on for a while.
It's just on. It's like cool. I can just put this on and do other things. Have some noise in the background.
I wish I could do other things, but I had to write down notes. But
yeah,
no, I really didn't like it. Aaliyah is so late in the movie. Her powers make no sense. The main lead guy he's supposed to be like, oh, I'm the most charismatic person in the world. I'm this rock star. Didn't believe it for 1 second. He wasn't charismatic to me in any way. I would have preferred Tom Cruise somehow to this guy. The soundtrack is fine. At one point, maybe for Kidney Thieves being represented on there.
Yeah.
But I really did not like it. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 10 groupies.
Okay.
I just not a fan.
Hey, you don't have to defend it. I don't. Fan. Sometimes we argue about these ratings. No, that's fair.
So the unsuspecting victim gets the highest marks. That's a rare feat on the podcast. Lisa, what do you have to say for yourself here?
Like I said, I really wanted to like it more.
Yeah.
It could, because here's a problem. It could have been great. That's what I think. If they had done it right, it could have been great, and they screwed it up.
Sure.
So, Mitch, what would your rating have been before you rewatched it? Would it have been higher?
It probably would have been higher. It wouldn't have been like stellar. It wouldn't have been like a 9. It would probably been closer to a 6.
Okay. But the rewatch got you.
Yeah. I think nostalgia beforehand. Nostalgia would have probably played it. It's one of those things you saw it when I saw it younger. Clearly the music, I think would have influenced my score more than just purely on the movie. But that's, it dropped a few.
One last thing. Did you listen to the soundtrack in preparation for this?
I did. Not for this. I
also did.
Not necessarily for this episode, but definitely for tomorrow's episode with Why I Hate This Album podcast, because I am really excited to hear what they're going to say about that.
You're yelling back you're like, no, they didn't get it.
I'm going to,
I listened to every Kidney Thieves song in order, and they didn't get it.
That is something. You may be the first to have done that.
I listened to it as well in preparation. It's one of the better parts of the movie. I'll give it that.
Yeah, the music is definitely a vocal point. I mean, they saw that as a strength and they leaned into it. And I I think that's part of why I gave it a 4 instead of like a 2.
Okay. That makes sense.
Anyway, yeah. So as we mentioned, tomorrow, this is going to wrap it up for today's movie review of Queen of the Damned.
Tomorrow.
If you still need to get your Queen damned, then check out Why I Hate This Album podcast tomorrow on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, they'll have the links out. Definitely make sure to check it out. You're going to hear a lot more about the music. Trust me, I am so excited to talk about this album, because the album is, to me, more important than the movie. It has more relevance.
I agree.
So, they tell them where they can find us.
Yeah, so you can find us at our website at TexasPodcastMassacre.com. Email us at TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about this movie on Netflix, so you can easily check it out and see if you unsuspecting victims liked it more than we did. You can check us out at Twitter on TX Pod Massacre, Instagram, Facebook. Thanks for all the likes and reviews. We appreciate it. And check us out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and all your podcast platforms.
That's right. Well, from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in. And just keep telling yourself, it's only a movie. Good night.